Hello everybody, my name is Nico Rizzo. This is my MyLab 2 video reflection video. Um, Overall experience for this MyLab 2, I think it was a fun and learning experience for me to get to know, learn about more public speaking and how it relates to a lot of different experiences you have in the world, especially in the workplace. I think that's where it's really effective at. Uh, my my interviews and posting it on stuff on YouTube and my blog, so it's become much easier because of the experience I've taken from this MyLab. I felt more comfortable, especially now. I feel more comfortable, more fluid talking in a camera. And that's something that I appreciate that Professor Ward has done for us, because I think given this experience with this MyLab really will help me develop in the workplace in the future. Now, for the interview I did an interview with Dr. Crone, and I was talking about how preparing, for a lesson plan for a teacher is that really important to plan for a class for a student's, learning experience. And it was more of we had a very good discussion about, everything. And he was telling me he's been teaching for 45 years, so he has some experience in this field, I believe. But he was telling me how, it is like giving a speech, when you're planning for teaching kids, information, and, you got a whole group looking at you, staring at you. It is like public speaking. He does take the precautionary steps to, that a public speaker would take. He has an intro to his class, what he wants to talk about, what is he going to talk about. He has a body, which is his main points that he's going to discuss with the class, and then at the end, he is going to give, a conclusion of what they learned, or they need to learn anything further. Now, he did tell me that it's not necessarily with his experience and and what he's gone through over his 45-year teaching career. He said it's not necessarily for him the material he has to plan and learn out for the kids, because he knows that already. It's more of knowing your crowd, and that is something that's very important to him. That is very important, in public speaking, like Professor Ward discussed with us. Just knowing your class, knowing how, what they need to learn on, how do they learn better? Do they learn better by lectures or doing projects or anything like that? And I think the same thing goes for when you're giving a speech. If I'm giving a speech to a crowd that is older than me or is older than me, maybe I won't use same lingo, or maybe I wouldn't be as hyper or say anything that they don't get. Unlike if a young crowd or somebody or a crowd that gets what I'm saying. Like if I want to talk about football to a crowd of people that have no idea of football or don't even have interest in sports, then what's the whole point of talking, giving a speech? Because they're not going to pay attention, and it's going to do nobody good. It's not going to do the speaker or the audience any good, because this is going to be a waste of our time. Now, something that we further discussed in this interview that I thought was really important is that, there are some things that public speaking and teaching have really in common, but there's one thing that still stuck out to Dr. Crone, and we discussed this, was that just because, when you're giving a speech, you're supposed to, if you're wrong, either say, I don't have that information right now, or just keep on going with it. You're not supposed to stop mid-speech to stop your flow, that, I messed up, or I'm sorry, I forgot, or I messed up. In teaching, if you do make an error, it affects not only you, but it affects the student you're teaching, because you want to teach that person the right material, because eventually taking a test. Even though that might sound really simple as it is, but it really is a big difference in public speaking, because you don't want to stop your flow, but in the teaching world, you need to stop and correct yourself, or tell a student, hey, I'm sorry, I messed up on the information I gave you. And my experience for the interview it was very good discussion I had with Dr. Crone. He's one of my favorite teachers that I had here, and it really was. I think it was a step above my last interview that I did. Now, going on, I want to talk more about this media analysis that I had to watch for the class. It was a TED Talk, and it was really a great speech. I was really blown away by how good it was, and it's something that you know, is interesting to me, but not too interesting to make me get a grasp of, you know. But he did a great job of giving that speech. He really, like Professor Ward said, he really grabbed the person in, the audience in, and remember what he was saying. I remember what he was talking about. And that is something that really, you know, that he did great on. Another thing, too, he combined, you know, not just crowd interactions, you know, but he really had some comical humor, you know, here and there, which really opens the room up and makes everybody, you know, get more engaged. And he has personal stories that are important in giving the speech that he's connecting to the audience. So at the end of the day, you want to connect yourself with the audience because they're the ones that are listening. They're the ones that want to talk to you. He also did a great job at his pace. His pace was phenomenal. His filler words, he really had no filler words, unlike I have a lot of filler words in my interview. And that's something else that's really hard to do, but that it's important to do when you're giving a speech, especially to people, because it doesn't look great. Now, he did have some visual aid. He didn't have a lot of visual aid. He had like a slideshow or two, which is something that can help you giving a speech, and that is something that you shouldn't like hold dear on, like Professor Ward said. But he only used 1 or 2 slides, and it just, I think he did a great job. And you could tell he didn't. I mean, he probably practiced his speech a lot, which is you should do, but I don't think he memorized it because it was just so fluid and, you know, so great. I was really stunned. You know, it really was. It's everything that Professor Ward has taught us in the class that person did in that TED Talk. And I hope one day I can be as good as him. But I got some practice to do. Another thing that I wanted to reflect on in this whole MyLab experience was just my public speaking skills in general. I think I've gotten much better, you know, especially as the class goes on, because, you know, you do get more comfortable, and that's what happens, you know, with our small group. But, you know, I focus more on, you know, the body posture of what I do, and, you know, saying a lot of filler words. I try to stop. I'm really excited for the speech I'm going to do on Tuesday. It really, I don't sometimes I don't get how I can, you know, like, people can go up there and sound so fluid and so like unique in their own style. But once I get up there, I am nervous a little bit. But after a while, you know, like Professor Ward said, I take a deep breath in, and I see myself getting better, and pay attention to the little things. Because at the end of the day, it's the little things that can take you over the edge. And for the class itself, learning a lot about speeches is really amazing, because I didn't really think it took a lot into speeches. I figured, you know, you wrote something down and you memorized it and then you gave it. You know, there's a lot of different types of speeches. There is, and there's a lot of, you know, technical things that go down to it. There's body points, and then there's points underneath the body points, and then there's conclusion, then there's transitions. You just can't just go right into one thing. And it's really important. It's really important to have that structure in that speech, because it really makes everything nice and fluid. And that's all I have for this written reflection. I really felt this MyLab 2 was a great experience, and I hope to do more, become better at public speaking. Okay.